All right, so by now you figured out that was part 3 and this is part 4. So thank you for keeping better track than me. So this should be the last part, by the way, just so you know.
Should.
So the lack of CGI, how awesome was that?
That was great.
Right?
It was really refreshing.
I mean, there was CGI in it, and you could tell at times where that CGI was, but it wasn't in your face prequel special edition type of CGI.
Yeah.
It was there to just kind of help enhance it a little. It wasn't dependent on it.
That's what got me, or gave me hope for this movie before it came out, was knowing that he was using practical effects and using a lot of the same techniques that they used with the original, and it really paid off. You know, a lot of those, you know, creatures looked really, you know, real and not just so out of place. And I
like
think
the giant pig monster that pushed Finn out of his watering hole.
Yeah,
like, get out of here.
Yeah. But I think, you know, it also gave the actors, you know, stuff to actually react to rather than being told there's going to be a big thing right there.
Just look at the tennis ball.
Yeah.
Right? It's cool.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how that was for the guy that played Palpatine trying to fight a tennis ball.
Yeah.
For whatever fight scene he was actually involved with.
Yeah, I mean, Abrams totally understood, you know, what made the original.
I mean, he was a fan of the originals, thankfully. Like he enjoyed the originals, and so he wanted to bring that back.
But I mean, I will say, like, the parts that they did need, you know, CG, like, you know, the plane sequences, or not plane sequences, but, you know, the dog fights, you know, stuff like that was really well done, and it just, you know, my heart was racing for, you know, those whole things, and just huge grin on my face. Like,
I kind of liked how the TIE fighters didn't just straight up explode.
Yeah.
Like they
shattered apart.
They broke apart and
Yeah.
crashed into other stuff. And
Absolutely. I do also have to applaud that with the dogfights, they weren't just in space. I think there was a small bit that was in space. I mean, obviously the part where Poe and Finn are in the TIE fighter, and then one other part near the end where they were on Starkiller Base, and then they went back into space, and then went back to Starkiller Base. So like most of the fights were in atmosphere, low to the ground, which kind of helped heighten that intensity, which was fantastic. It was great.
I love how they shot on location for a lot of it too, and they even like built their own Millennium Falcon. Like,
yeah, they need to take that on tour so I can go on.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like, I would love to just sit in the cockpit, just like. It needs to be in Disney World.
Yeah.
Disney, put that in Star Tours or whatever. The Millennium Falcon, whole thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're not asking for the Death Star. We know that's not happening. But the Millennium Falcon, do it.
So what did you guys think of John Williams doing the music again?
I liked it. I have person that I know, Melanie from Best Buy.
Yeah.
She was complaining that it was the same music. That's part of the magic for certain parts of it.
Yeah.
It was the same music, like obviously the introduction music, Luke's theme, like certain themes, they have to be in there.
Yeah.
Like it's that character's theme.
It's been
but
established.
then there were twists to it, like in the final scene when and I honestly I think this was my favorite piece of music. I was listening to it on the car ride here. I really enjoyed it. Was the Jedi Steps is what the song's called, where it's got a bit of that mysticism to it, like what's about to happen as she's climbing the steps, and then the reveal of Luke, and it's very dramatic, almost dark tone. Like you don't know what's about to happen, and then it transitioned into Luke's theme, then back to something a little more mystical, and then the end credits. Like that for me right there was probably the best piece of music for me. Right. That's how I felt. But throughout it all, I loved it. It was familiar, but it was new.
Yeah, no, I thought that they did a good job with it, and I didn't notice quite as much of like the certain characters having their own music, but
I mean Leia, Han, Luke, the usual.
The new characters, I mean, maybe I wasn't paying attention to it, but I didn't notice them having their own kind of special.
He'll let us know on his fifth, sixth, seventh time through. He'll be like, no, they have their own.
The only one I did kind of notice was on Rey when she comes out at the beginning when we see her. She comes out of that crash Death Star.
Sure.
Oh, when she's sliding
Star
down on the
Destroyer.
hill.
Yeah. That there was.
Yeah,
She kind of had her own theme.
Yeah. I think I heard it again after that at one point. I can't. Again, I'm deferring to your expertise at this point. Like, your goal is 15 times.
Yes,
15 times. We're gonna hold him to that. 15 times. He needs to post it on Facebook. Keep the tickets so we can verify this.
Oh, there. I might need to get one from a friend of mine. Hopefully, he didn't destroy that one yet.
Yeah, after this, you have to message it.
Yeah.
I need that ticket.
Robert, where's my ticket?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I thought the music was great. The sound effects were phenomenal. The lightsabers.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, if you're gonna go see it or if you're gonna see it again, see it in Atmos because the sound's phenomenal. It really is.
If there is an Atmos available to you,
And
it's
if there's
not everywhere.
if there isn't, move to a better city. I'm kidding.
If not, your next best bet is IMAX, which
Suffer through the 3D, but
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the sound effects overall were great. The TIE fighters sound great. One other part that I really liked was when in the first sequence and when they're escaping from the Star Destroyer, when it got hit and you heard that stuttering of the TIE fighter, I was like, ooh, that sounds rough. That's cool.
Also, may I point out the Wilhelm scream?
Yes, you may point it out. I didn't hear
I
it
was
the
a
first
fan of
time.
that, so-
I thought I heard it the second time, and I was right because you both confirmed it. For me.
Yes.
But yes,
It's very-
tell us where it was.
It's very
Very
subtle.
subtle. It was when they were breaking out of the Star Destroyer. Thank you. Apparently, that's a hard word for us to say today. And they're shooting
word of the day.
shooting the stormtroopers. You hear one of them.
We can't do the Wilhelm scream,
Yeah.
obviously. Well,
We're not Wilhelm.
I think at this point, Joe, in editing, just put it in
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
All right, there it is. I hope.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we sound like fools. So,
Anyways.
but yeah.
Speaking of editing, it moved. The story moved very fluidly.
Mhm.
There was great transitions.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they deleted because they said there's 10 to 20 minutes
Wow.
of deleted scenes in this.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, what did they delete?
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe we'll
why didn't it fit?
maybe we'll find out what happened to Finn's gun before they go outside and he has the lightsaber because he had
Oh,
the
yeah,
gun
that's
that
right.
he had the gun that Han
Oh.
gave him, and then
Yeah.
Maz hands him the lightsaber, and you can see it; it's still strapped on
Yeah.
his shoulder. But then they go outside.
And he's like,
Hey,
"Your weapon."
I need
Yeah.
Here you go, idiot!
You have one, fool! Oh, I do.
So, speaking of lightsabers, what did you guys think of the fighting and the choreography with that?
It was.
It was very well done. It showed that when like Finn and
Kylo.
and Rey were doing it. It showed
Doing it.
when they were playing.
Yeah.
There's no
apologize for
safe way
Joel.
out of this.
I'm sorry.
When they were using the lightsabers,
Yes.
you could see how raw they were.
Yeah.
And
No, and I think what was great is when Rey got the lightsaber
Mhm.
and she started attacking Kylo. She definitely had her own distinct fighting style with the very forceful.
She was used to
kind
the
of
bow
stuff.
staff.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Yeah,
thought
that's true,
I thought
yeah.
that attention to detail for each characters, how they fight and all that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I do have to I do have to just say it was hilarious that how quickly Finn was dispatched.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I thought there was gonna be a bit longer,
Yeah.
and just boom, done.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then just I liked Kylo Ren's fighting style. It was better obviously than the Finn and Rey.
Yeah.
But it wasn't quite mastery, obviously.
Mhm.
I also have to say during that fight, I loved how he kept pounding his wound to
Yeah.
piss himself off because
Yeah.
anger
Mhm.
is supposed to help with the dark
Yeah.
side. I remember my wife actually was wondering, well, why was he doing that? Well, he got shot, and so he's just pounding the wound to piss himself off. Anger, helps fuel the dark side.
Yeah.
I never saw it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Pain leads to anger. Anger leads
Yeah.
to the dark side or something like that. I'm paraphrasing Yoda.
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta rewatch it all again. So like that I thought was really interesting, very brutal. That he would do that to motivate himself. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm not wounded, I'm fine, I can take this kid on.
Yeah.
Like he was like, really gotta keep it going.
Yeah.
And then of course, it was a very raw fight. I mean, trees were falling. Like it wasn't as choreographed and crisp as the prequels. Like it was just wham bam, there it is.
Which was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
So didn't seem as fake. It seemed more genuine. Again, this is a movie though. Of course, it's all fake. But
still.
Oh yeah. So I mean, that's a majority of the movie, other than the ending, which we kind of touched on, but haven't really.
So, I mean, what did you guys think of Mark Hamill's performance?
Oh man, riveting. Oscar like Leo ain't got nothing on him. I mean, it's funny. He has second billing on the posters. Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and Mark Hamill doesn't say a thing. And this isn't me complaining about it. It's just something I find interesting. He's in it for maybe a total of like a minute and a half. And he gets second billing. He couldn't talk about what he did. Obviously can't talk about what he filmed because that's all he filmed. Surprise. So, and one thing to kind of note here, apparently they have already started filming episode 8, at least a certain scene. Same location, Luke and Rey, back in September, apparently. I don't know. I read it on the internet, so it must be true. So, I mean, it sounds like episode 8 will pick up right where they left off, which is interesting for a Star Wars movie, because usually there's a good bit of gap there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what do you think of it ending just so abruptly like that, though?
I wanted more.
I
really wanted more. I thought something was going to happen. I thought they were going to say something. I thought he was going to be like, Ray, I'm your father. I don't know. Something like that. Maybe not so cheesy.
Yeah.
But I thought it was going to do something. And I was waiting for the line, and then directed by J.J. Abrams. I was like, oh, come on, man. It was just so abrupt. And I'm not mad about it. I'm okay with where it left off. It just has me more excited for episode 8. I gotta know what happens. So I know I will be there as the earliest showing I can be for episode 8. Obviously, next year's Rogue One, I think is what it's called. So I'll probably be midnight there as well, even though it'll have nothing to do with episode 7. So what did you guys think, though?
Go ahead.
Me first, Joel. Every time.
Quickly, do it.
I was totally fine with the ending. It didn't. If they actually kept going after that point, it just we're kind of going into Michael Bay territory as far as dragging the story out and leaving, just giving us a little too much. This way, I definitely wanted more at the end. Like, not more with that scene, but just like something. I want episode 8 right now. That's what I want.
Year and a half.
I think the countdown was like 520 something days.
Of course, the guy's seen it so many times. It's the exact day count.
But I was absolutely fine with it because the story was just trying to find Luke,
Yeah.
And then it's gonna go into something else. Obviously, it's gonna feature a lot more Luke in the next one. So.
Thank you.
The good
More
Luke.
me. More me.
That's all we ever need, Luke. More of you.
Oh, gee. So, but yeah. So, Star Wars Force Awakens. Go see it if you haven't. Okay. Comment on anything. I don't care. How ugly I look. How funny Joel is. How quiet Joe is. I don't know. And we'll see you, hopefully, maybe one day at another Daydream. All right, real quick thanks to our sponsors, Imagine That 3D, where you can get stuff 3D printed like this Kylo Ren lightsaber hilt. You can just go online to imaginethat3d.com, submit a design. They ship all over the nation. It's pretty cool stuff. So, again, thanks from us here at Awkward Daydream.